In 2014. Just recently, he passed away. Now, that's a terrible thing. His family, of course, is devastated, downstate, particularly devastated. But there are certain things I want to say about him. And that was, I probably wouldn't have run for governor if it wasn't for him. In 2014, Michael McDermott ran for governor here in New York State, and I traveled with him across the state. And I assisted him in donations. I assisted him. I was his driver. Yes, some of you have been my driver. I was a driver too. Yes. So yes, I walked the walk first, right? I was his driver. I donated. I helped him with debate prep. I took him to Buffalo when he debated Cuomo and Astorino and Howie Hawkins. And one thing people don't know is he was suffering then. He was physically having pain with his foot. And some of you know he had a part of his leg amputated right afterwards. And he was having that pain and struggling then. I couldn't stop him. He kept going. He kept going through all of that. And every time we'd be in front of people, he'd get in front of them and sit in and talk. And he talked in front of anybody. And if you know Michael McDermott, maybe his downfall was to talk too much. Maybe if anything else, maybe that was his downfall, if there's anything. But he talked and he spoke to anybody. He would talk to union workers. He would talk to the most far right or the most far left who didn't care. He'd have a conversation. And because of that, it's one of the reasons why I ran. So I want to say that we lost a warrior, someone who worked really hard, even when he was physically hurting, when he was ill, and even after. Some of you know he had an amputation. He was still active in our party, traveling around, mostly downstate though, but traveling around and trying to make things happen. So I just want to say a shout out to Michael McDermott's family, all those who knew him. We lost a warrior. Rest in peace, brother. So let me move on to something else. A little downer, sorry guys, I apologize, but I want to make sure we announce that. I want to talk now about what I discussed last year. As you said perfectly, I crossed the state last year. I did it. All 62 counties, I crossed. And what was my message? If you remember my message, it was heavily this. It doesn't matter who wins in November. We're going to be in trouble. That was my message. People laughed at me. What are you talking about, Larry? If you lean right, you want a Trump. If you lean left, you want a Biden. But I said, it doesn't matter which way you lean. We're going to be in trouble. I also said, after the election, give or take a month or two, what are we going to have? Sporadic violence. That's what we have. Yep. I have psychic powers. No, I don't. I don't have psychic powers. I do not. No. No at all. The reality is I just mentioned this because that's where we are now. Things haven't all of a sudden magically gotten better. The example I want to bring up is an example that should be trivial, but sadly isn't. Meghan and Harry. Yes, Meghan and Harry. You would think Meghan and Prince Harry, you would think that their issues would mean nothing to us. And in reality, they do, right? Whether she has a wonderful marriage, a terrible marriage, or a good relationship with her family or not, I hope she has a good relationship with her family for her point. I hope so. But does it affect us? Does the British family, and whether they're good or bad to Meghan, does it affect us as Americans? It doesn't. Yet that's in our news now. And we found that as a reason to fight. Think about that. That is in our news, and we are fighting over that. There are people on the left and the right who are fighting over something that is as irrelevant as whether a foreign country's royal family does well or not. That's what we're worried about. This is the example I want to bring up. This is how divided we still are. Division hasn't gotten any better. Larry, I know, divided, I know, I hear it. So we got to fight the left or fight the right, depending on which side you lean on. We've been fighting the left and fighting the right for years. What's been happening? Deeper, deeper division. So, Larry, Mr. Wise Guy, what's the answer? It's the same answer I've been given. Vote gold. Third party is the answer, and not just third party, Libertarian Party. Why? Because if you've been Libertarian Party, you notice something. We fight a lot. Yeah, we do. We fight a lot. But why do we fight a lot? Because we're not a cult of personality, and because we don't just stand around virtue signaling all day. We actually have a group of principles that matter to us, and we disagree on how to make those principles move forward. But so what? It still unites us. There are people who are very left in our party, and people who are very right in our party. There's only one thing that unites them. They don't want to force each other to do what the other person wants. They don't want to force their view upon others. That's the critical distinction. So yeah, I want the world to be liberal. Awesome, good on you, good on you. Do you want to force the rest of the world to do so? No, I just want to be able to be liberal. Good, go ahead, Libertarian. I want to be super conservative. Awesome, good on you. Do you want to force the world to be conservative? No, I just want to be conservative, be alone. Good on you, you're Libertarian. How in the world can we heal our nation without that? That's the only way. So if you want to fight the left or fight the right, I would say don't fight either. Don't fight either. Lincoln said it. If I make my enemy my friend, haven't I destroyed my enemy? Yeah. Yeah. Let's be friends. Let's be friends. And the only way to do that is the Libertarian movement. It's the Libertarian Party. So I'll go one step further, the next piece that everyone's talking about. Our Lord Master here in New York, His Majesty, King Andrew Cuomo II, all hail the king. So I'll discuss it. People are mad. Got to get rid of him. Well, I have a little bit of I told you so from that one too. Remember when I ran? I said what a bad guy he was. I said that he was a tyrant. I said that nothing will stop him. I said that. And people laughed. They laughed. Yeah, we're seeing it now, aren't we? We're seeing it now. He's a tyrant that I said he was. He's acting exactly as so. So you might say, well, Larry, aren't you glad? Don't you want him to resign? I don't. Yep, I said I don't. Why? Because everybody, even that bad guy, deserves due process. He is a bad guy, and I really want him gone, and I don't want him as my governor. And he deserves due process, as everybody does. Everybody does. Larry, you said this about Trump after the election? Yeah, I did. If you remember that, I did. When Trump was saying we have to sue and we have to go through all the motions for the election. And people were like, why? Trump's just being bad. I'm like, no, that's due process. Trump deserves due process. Cuomo deserves due process. You all deserve due process. And so do I. Everyone deserves due process. So while I really hope they find him guilty and get rid of him, or the pressure makes him resign, that'd be amazing. I hope that happens. At the same time, he still deserves due process. We all do. That's an important piece. Which means, Larry, okay, so what happens if he resigns? Then we win, right?
Yeah.
No, we don't. We get another one in power who is the same as the other ones. Probably not as mean as him. It's tough to be as mean as him, right? You really have to, it'd be tough to find someone as mean as him. So probably less mean. Probably. Maybe not. I could be wrong on this one. But the odds are less mean than him. That's true. The odds are less tyrannical. That's probably. Doesn't solve our problem. It's a battle that we might win, but we're still losing the war. So how do we win the war? By doing what we're doing right now. Right now, right here. By making sure we have local affiliates, local groups that can take action the second that we need action taken. This is the way to win. This small battle right here. So that when someone runs, there's someone to go, I got you. So that when someone says, I need to push some agenda that's going to actually stop some of this madness, we can say, I got you. So that when someone says, well, what were you libertarians doing when this was happening? We can say, we were doing this right here. We were ready. We were acting. We were doing things. Yeah, we were. This is what gives us street cred. And while I would love for us to magically win the presidency in 2024, that would be awesome. That'd be great. I would love that. It will be of no avail if we don't have local chapters and state chapters to support the person who eventually wins. While I would love it, I hope it happens, it'd be amazing. If we don't have local chapters and people on the ground to make things happen, it'll just be a wonderful symbolic victory, which would be nice. I just rather be more than symbolic. Everything here on the ground matters. What we're doing right now matters. You might say to yourself, and I hear it all the time, Larry, what can I do to have the, move the liberty forward? Should I run for office? Should I, go downtown and yell at the Capitol building? No. No. You should do two things. Number one, make yourself stronger. I'm not joking. Make yourself stronger, whether that's physically, financially, mentally, whatever it is, make yourself stronger. If you are stronger, we are stronger. If you have more money, we have more money. If you are better able to get out and get things done, we are able to get more things done. So make yourself stronger, number one. Number two, organize like this. Be available. So when Daniel calls you, you can go, yeah, I got you, I'm here. Yeah, I can show up. Yeah, I can do that. Yes, I'm here. Organize and make yourself stronger. That's the issue. Larry, should we not run for office? Of course we should. It just isn't the only answer. There are many answers. That's one of them. There are many other things we can do. If you're not ready to run for office, don't. Organize. You can't organize, no worries. Donate. You can't donate, organize, show up. All of that works. All of that works. Then we have the campaign. You remember what I did at the end of every single event? I thank people for showing up. Because it matters. It matters. Larry, I can't write you a check. No worries. Can you get a ride to my event? Yeah. Can you sit your butt in a chair? I can do that. Wonderful. You've just helped out. Yeah. You've just helped out. Can you take an hour out of your day and sit in a chair and act like you care what I'm talking about? Can you do that? You nod your head every once in a while like I'm smart. You can do that? Wonderful. You're helping. Please keep doing that. That matters. I want you to do that. Totally fine. This does matter. What we're doing here matters. So people are asking me, well, Larry, this sounds good. I like it. But are you going to run in 2022? Get that question all the time. And I tell people, I'm going to decide in the summer. Well, Larry, why are you going to wait till the summer? Because that's when I'm going to know what kind of support we really have. That's when I'm going to know what the actual landscape looks like. So I can make a smart decision. Because as you all know, I sit here and talk trash. I do all the time. I do. But when I run, I'm going to ask all of you, for your time, for your money, for your energy. I'm going to ask all of you for that. So I did it last time, and I'm going to do it again. But when I do it, I want to make sure it is impactful. That when it's over, you go, I'm glad I was on board. That makes sense. I'm so glad I did that. I'm glad I supported that guy. He busted his drum for me, and he made impact. If I don't think I can do that, I don't want to run. If I think I can do that, I'll run. And that's what I want all of you to be thinking too. Should I run, Larry? Should I not run? Can you make impact? Does that mean win? Win isn't always, look, I always want you to win if you run. Of course I do, please. It'd be amazing. Of course. Just being realistic. Often we don't win. It's a fact of life. But are we making impact? Are we changing our local communities? Are we doing the right things? Are we inspiring people? Are we making things happen? If we're not, don't run. You're wasting everyone else's time, money, and energy. If you're going to make that impact, make some change, inspire some people, then run. It makes total sense. It makes total sense. Donor burnout, volunteer burnout, activist burnout is a real thing. Don't burn them out. Don't burn out your activists. Don't burn out your volunteers. Don't burn out your donors. You need to be making impact. We don't have as much time, money, and energy as the big guys do. It's the way it works. More focus, the better. So I hope that was clear why I'm here, what I'm trying to achieve. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. Happy to take any question or comment either from the people on Zoom, if they have any, or for the people in the room. Any of those, I'm happy to take any questions or comments. Besides the fact that I'm super handsome, that's true, but I already know. You don't have to tell me that again. I've blown you all away. So you have absolutely no questions or comments here. Like that, might be online real fast.
Do any of our participants through Zoom have any questions from Mr. Sharpe? Any questions?
I think that will be none. All right, guys, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all the time. Let's keep going. Local does matter. We focus local. When we get the big hit, now we can actually move forward. By the way, in case you guys didn't know this, when I first started running in 2016, we had less than 16 local affiliates. Now we have over 30. Matt, have another number that we have right now? 32. 32. There we go. So we have doubled since we ran. Let's double again.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes, go ahead.
What is all your information about your podcast? Where can people go?
For those of you who don't know about my podcast, please listen to The Sharpe Way. It is a super cool podcast. In fact, you guys may not know this. This is a fact. Of all, it is the absolute #1 podcast in the world that has Sharpe in the name. It is the #1 podcast in the world that has Sharpe in the name. Yes, and has Sharpe with an E, and the E stands for entertaining. Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.